led model has its restrictions because you cannot have the best of the best trainer going to each and every place. A blended learning model is something that's going to succeed, and that's what is the approach that we are adopting. So we will continue with the traditional model. We will also go with online, and a combination of that is what we are planning.
So you seem to have done, seem to have a fair amount of success in the tech learning. Have you considered, or are you considering replicating this in other parts of learning, other markets?
We, apart from technology training, we do soft skill training. What we have realized that even if you teach technology, the students are not getting a job because they have low self-esteem, low self-confidence, and don't have communication skills. And not only that, we teach soft skills to individuals at entry level, but we also teach soft skills to higher level too. So that's one aspect. We don't want to go in any other area because in the coming 2 to 3 years, this itself, if we keep a focus, that should be helping us to achieve the business objectives. In the future, based on technology, like if you consider IT for engineering industry, IT for banking, IT for most of the other verticals, in the future we have a plan that how IT is enabling all those industries, and can we provide those technologies to those industries. And that's what we have in future. But currently we have a focus on technology plus soft skills at various levels.
Sandra, you talked about having diluted equity earlier to Types of India, and recently again you diluted equity to another fund. What has that experience been like, especially now that, in the past you were pretty much running it, either with your own capital, but the equity was within the promoter group, shall we say. The moment you have outside people coming in, can you share experiences, good and bad, any insights into what people should be watching out for?
I won't say bad, but something which is slightly stressful or you don't like is they're asking you questions. And they've started asking questions. And because their only purpose is to exit with maybe doubling or tripling their money. But that's good for organization also because they're adding huge value from the business perspective. So initially we were slightly apprehensive that shall we be losing freedom or what, but fortunately the investor that we have, they have given us enough freedom. They ask right questions, the incisive questions at the right time, so that we are kept on a track. And if their money is going to grow, our money also is going to grow along with that. So with this experience, I am of the opinion having an investor, one who asks such questions, is good for the health of the organization. Because you don't have all that financial knowledge which is limited, and they bring a lot of their understanding from outside. So though it sometimes is irritating, sometimes you don't like, you feel that you're losing freedom, but it's certainly good for the organization. That's my personal belief.
Yeah, so in the last 20 years you are supplying technologically enabled resources to IT industry. So are you happy with the the way IT industry has shaped up in last 20 years, and as a part of mission, do you want to influence the way it should grow in future?
I can see very categorically in last 20 years, the mindset of the students, I used to see in 1994, and the mindset of the student 10 years back, and the mindset of a student now, and those who are as a part of the IT industry, you would also be experiencing that. There certainly is a definite concrete change. Number one, people are coming to Seedlike Institute not for learning but to get a job, which is really unfortunate thing. When I talk to some of my friends in the US, the quality of the code that we write in this country is not up to the mark compared to what it used to be, and it has dramatically diluted in many areas. The quality of students coming out of being churned out by the engineering colleges or science colleges, though the students are bright, the upbringing or the overall guidance that they're getting on the college campus has a severe challenge. Most of the colleges do not have a faculty. The whole system is because of the way we are looking at the education, starting from 7th standard, when we are after marks so that he get some admission in some place, without caring about whether the learning is happening or not. And it has an impact on the quality of the student and the way the student is thinking. So these are the observations. When we talk to some of the industries, and whatever that I am sharing is limited to my interactions, there is severe challenge of the quality of students and intake. The need of the individual one who is feeling that I should go at the depth of the subject and the quality of work that I create should be really the best is not really happening. The overall value system is not intact. Though these are some of the problems that is sharing, there is a brighter side also. There are bright people also. There are amazing kids coming out of the current education system much faster than most of us, and they are supersonic speed they are advancing. But if you see a mass, say 60-70% going to the IT industry is not up to the mark, is our experience, because we churn out 40-50,000 students every year and they're getting a job. And when they get a job, we feel happy because they got a job. At the same time, we feel worried that they got a job because we know the quality of them. And it's a deep concern because ultimately we are writing a software for the customers outside and they are realizing the problem. I was discussing with Alan Sher, one of the IBM fellow, and he's happy about Indians because he worked for IBM. He's the first PhD from MIT Boston. And he said that I'm extremely happy with Indians, but he said that of late I'm deeply concerned about the quality of code that's been written in this country. And he said that I would like to come to Pune. He is ready to be a part of Thai Interaction. He's an IBM fellow. Alan Sher is his name, and he's one of the wonderful person which IBM has. So these are some of the things that comes to my mind for the question which you asked.
Yeah, I mean, what I mean was like traditionally we have been working for service industries, and we all know like a lot of product companies are coming up with this new generation entrepreneurs, and we also want to encourage them. So from the resource point of view, I mean, do you plan to bring some mindset change for the engineers so that they can work on quality products rather than doing some services?
We have a severe challenge for bright candidates working for a startup. In India, I have not seen a bright engineer working for a startup, which is very easy in the US. Though I have not gone to US, I never have wanted to be in the US. So point number one, in US, the bright candidates do take a offer with a startup, while in India, they don't prefer a startup. And that has an impact on the quality of code that a startup would like to create.
We will take two more questions. This guy is waiting for quite some time.
Good evening, Mr. Narendra. Thank you for sharing your journey and open journey. I am in my final year B and inclined towards entrepreneurship and looking for a seed funding. So what approach I should have to attract investors?
If you have a good problem and a business model to support, and a lot of enthusiasm to when you are telling your story, how you would like to start and grow, maybe it is possible. My experience when we try to raise the funds is, though the business model and the idea is important, the investors look the integrity of the promoter. And that's going to be one of the most crucial component of whether you can attract funds or not. Because even when you get the funds, the business model has to sometimes go through a change. Sometimes the entire business plan goes through a change because the time changes. But if a person or if a promoter group is of high integrity, has very high ambitions and is resourceful, maybe you can attract funds.
Okay, one last question, please.
Question will be, how did you actually attract good people when you actually started on your business? Because as you said, it is very difficult to get good people on board. So what was your actually sales pitch to good people?
When we started, our capacity to attract good people was not much. And what are the people, those who came to us,